The letter that Paul wrote to Titus. I will tell you a bit about Paul's letter to Titus. Paul was a great Christian teacher. God sent him to lots of countries to tell people about Jesus. Titus was a young man that traveled with Paul, and they went to the island called Crete. Crete is near the country called Greece. When Paul was ready to get up and go to another place, he asked Titus to stay at Crete to help the new Christians there. Then Paul kept on traveling to other places. The Christians that lived on Crete only just started to believe in Jesus. They needed good leaders. So in this letter, Paul tells Titus about the kind of people he has to pick to be Christian leaders. And there were some bad teachers at Crete. So Paul told Titus to stop those bad teachers. Paul wrote this letter about 34 years after Jesus went back to heaven. But his message is still good for us today. Titus chapter 1, verse 1.
Dear Titus, this letter is from me, Paul. I work for God and teach people about Jesus Christ. God sent me to help his people believe in him more. And he sent me to help people understand his message better. Then they will know what they have to do to make God happy. A long time ago, before God made anything, he promised that his people will live with him forever. And God doesn't lie. His promise is still true. And this message makes all his people happy. And it stops them from worrying about what will happen after they die. God waited a while to tell people about this message, but now is the right time. And God gave me a special job. He is the one that saves us. He said, you have to tell people that message now. Titus, you and me, we both believe the same things about God. So you are like my own son. God is our Father and Jesus Christ is his Son. And Jesus saves us. I am asking them to be very good to you and to make you feel happy and quiet inside yourself.
Pick good people to be church leaders. Titus chapter 1, verse 5.
Titus, do you remember why I asked you to stay on that island called Crete? I told you that there were some things I wanted you to do there. Some things in that place were not right yet. I wanted you to try to fix those things. I also told you to pick good leaders to look after Christians in all the towns on Crete. Now I want to tell you what church leaders have to be like. They have to do all the right things, so that nobody can say anything bad about them. A church leader can only have one wife, and he can't sleep with any other woman, like a husband sleeps with his wife. His kids have to believe in God, do the right things and not get into trouble. His kids have to do what he says. Church leaders are in charge of God's work on earth. So they have to be really good people. And then nobody will say anything bad about them. Whenever you pick people to be church leaders, don't pick people that think they are better than everyone else. Don't pick people that get angry too easily. Don't pick people that drink a lot of grog. Don't pick people that get into fights. Don't pick greedy people that want lots of money and things. Church leaders have to be like this. They have to be happy to have visitors in their houses. They have to really want to do good things. They have to control themselves. They have to be sensible. They have to do what is right. They have to do things that make God happy. They have to be strong for Jesus. And they have to keep on believing God's message about Jesus, the message that we told you. This will help a leader teach true and right things to the people. And then this will help the people to believe in Jesus more strongly. Some people say, that message isn't true, but it's true. And a good leader will be able to show these people that they are wrong.
Stop people from teaching wrong things. Titus chapter 1 verse 10.
There are lots of people that don't do what God says. They talk about a lot of things that don't matter. They also try to trick people. They want people to believe what they say. They are the ones that say that we Christians have to follow all the Jewish laws to get God to save us. These people teach things that are wrong. They trick whole families, and they only do this to get money from people. So you have to stop them. Remember what one of Crete's own teachers said. A long time ago, he said, people from Crete are always lying. They are dangerous like wild animals. They are lazy and they eat too much food. The things that teachers said are still true. You have to talk straight to those bad teachers and tell them that they are doing the wrong thing, so that they will come back and believe God's true message again. They have to stop believing in the old stories that people made up. And they have to stop listening to rules from the Jewish people and rules from people that have stopped going God's way. Those rules are just people's rules. They are not God's rules. You know, if people just want to follow God's way, they don't have to worry about people's rules. They are clean inside, so everything is all right for them. But nothing is all right for people that don't want to follow God's way. They can only think in a bad way. They don't know what is right and what is wrong. These bad people say that they know God, but they do the bad things that God hates. So these people show that they don't really know God. They shame themselves. They don't do what God says. They can't do anything good.
Titus chapter 2. Teach Christians to do the right thing. Titus chapter 2 verse 1.
But Titus, you have to teach people the properly good things so they will live the right way. You have to teach the older men to control themselves. They have to do the right things so that people will respect them. They have to keep believing in Jesus strongly. They have to love other people. They have to be brave and never give up. And like that too, you have to teach the older women to do the things that make God happy. Tell them not to say bad things about people and not to drink a lot of grog. But they have to teach people good things. Then the old women can teach the young women to love their husbands and their kids, and to control themselves, and to only sleep with their own husbands, and not to do what married people do together with anybody else. And they can teach them to work hard at home, and do good things, and go along with what their husbands want. So people will see the things that the young women do, and they will not be able to say anything bad about God's message. You have to teach the young men to control themselves. You too, you have to always do good things. then the young men will see you and they will do good things too. You always have to teach the true message. And remember, your job is important. The message you teach has to be right so that nobody can rubbish it. Then your enemies will have nothing bad to say about you. Anyone that says bad things about you will shame themselves. And now I want to talk about workers and their bosses. Workers have to do what their bosses say. They have to make their bosses happy. Tell them, don't talk back to your boss. And don't ever steal from your boss. But show your boss that they can always trust you. Then people will say that those workers are good. And people will respect that message from God about Jesus. And they will want to know more about Him.
We are God's own people, so we have to do things that make God happy. Titus chapter 2, verse 11.
It is like this. God has shown us that He is very good to us. He came to tell everybody that He can save them. He teaches us to say no to the bad things of this world. He tells us not to live a wild life. He tells us to control ourselves. He tells us to do good things that make Him happy. He tells us to do these things now, while we wait for Jesus Christ to come back. We will be very happy on that day, when Jesus will come back and He will show everybody in the world that He is really great. Jesus died to save us from all the bad things of this world. He did this to change us into His own special people, like He properly cleaned us inside. And now we don't want to do anything bad, but only want to do good things. So I want you to teach the things I'm telling you in this letter. Teach them to all the Christians there. You have to teach them in a strong way. Tell Christians to keep going strong for Jesus. And tell them about the things that are wrong. Make sure they take notice of you.
Titus chapter 3. Christians have to live properly. Titus chapter 3, verse 1.
Titus, tell your people that they have to follow the government's rules. They have to follow the rules of all the government bosses. And they always have to be ready to do good things. Tell them not to say bad things about other people. They have to be happy with each other and not fight or argue. They have to go easy on other people. At first, before we believed in Jesus, we did silly things too. We didn't do what God told us to do. People tricked us and we believed things that were not true. We wanted to do all sorts of bad things. We couldn't stop ourselves. If anybody had a lot of things more than us, we wanted those things for ourselves, and we were angry with them. People didn't like us, and we didn't like them. But then God did something to help us. He showed us how much He loves us. God saved us, but He didn't save us because we did good things. No, but He was really sorry for us. That's why He saved us. Then His Holy Spirit washed us so that we are really clean inside. And He made us like we got born again as new people. You see, God sent Jesus Christ to die for us and save us. And then He properly filled us with His Holy Spirit. God was very good to us. So He did all this for us. And now we are His friends. We are in His family. And we are sure that we will live with Him forever. We can be very happy about that. That is all very true. I want you to teach those things strongly. I want you to be sure that people understand those things. Then the people that believe God's message will think more about doing good things. And these good things will help everyone. But make sure you don't argue with people about silly things. You know, some people argue about family groups from a long time ago. They argue about all sorts of old rules. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. It doesn't get you anywhere. Some people teach things that are different from God's true message. This can make Christians fight with each other. So you have to tell those people to stop. You might even have to tell them 2 times. And if they don't stop after you tell them 2 times, then leave them and don't have anything more to do with them. Those people don't believe God's true message. They know that the things they do are wrong, but they keep on doing them anyway. They will not change.
Paul wanted to see Titus again. Titus chapter 3, verse 12.
All right, Titus. Now I want to tell you about some people here. There are 2 men here called Artemis and Tychicus. I will send one of them to help you. After he gets there, please try to come and meet me at the city called Nicopolis. I will stay there for the cold weather time. And Titus, you know the lawyer called Zenas and his mate called Apollos. Those 2 men will be leaving your place soon to go on a trip. Please help them as much as you can. Make sure they have everything they need for their trip. And teach our people to do good things like that all the time. They have to help anybody that really needs things. In that way, they will be doing something good with their lives. All right, I'm going to finish my letter here. There are some people here with me that say hello to you. Please say hello to the people there that love us and believe God's true message. I pray that God will be very good to you. From Paul.